Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Sports Den Quarantine. We're all in our separate quarantines, staying safe and responsible. And we're your hosts for the show. I'm Kenton. We've got Ricky Rick Palermo,
Palermo.
aka Palmer. And then
We'll get to the Palmer part.
We'll get there. We've got JW Cox as well. How you doing?
Doing great. Quarantining.
Great. Quarantining, indeed, yes. So this is, remember the winter season?
Barely.
So we've been going sport by sport, talking about each of our winter sports because we didn't get our season finale. We've been talking to some athletes we've had on our show via Zoom. And so we've had boys and girls hockey, boys and girls basketball. So today we're just going to wrap up the rest of the winter season for you. And we do have a special guest. Should we tell them who the special guest is, or should we save that?
Tease it out.
We're going to tease you.
Yeah. There's a special state participant from gymnastics.
We wouldn't want to.
This year.
Oh, you said gymnastics. I was going to do a pun to tease that it was gymnastics, but never mind. It doesn't matter.
We're going to bring Mike Nastics into the show, or no? It's been a while. Ricky doesn't even know Mike Nastics.
No,
everybody,
never.
Do yourselves a favor after this show, or you can pause it now and come back. Look at Mike Nastics. You're welcome. All right, moving ahead to this episode. These other sports don't necessarily have their own hub, or it's difficult to get some of the information. And it was 2-3 months ago, but we'll do our best to kind of recap some of the things from this winter season. We'll start alphabetically with adapted floor hockey, as this year that was the one of the state tournaments that didn't get to happen was the adapted floor hockey tournament. We were about to cover it literally the day before it was decided that they were going to, at first it was going to be adjusted with not having fans there. And then they decided, compromise immune systems and all, they're just going to cancel the tournament. So there was no state tournament this year. And this year, I feel like would have been Anoka-Hennepin the year for the Mustangs, especially in CI. They were there for PI and CI, but taking the number one seed was the Mustangs. And we saw them earlier this year versus North Suburban. And it seemed like this could have been their year.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's that trend that we always follow. It doesn't matter the sport. The teams we get to cover generally are right there and competitive. This was a year, though, where North Suburban wasn't at the same level that they've been, and that opened the door wide for Anoka-Hennepin to be the dominant force, especially, like you said, in both PI and CI being there in the state tournament. And that it is anytime games are canceled or anything like that, if it's the spring that would have been, if it was rain and things like that, it's always disappointing. But that particular state tournament, I've gotten to cover that. We usually get highlights for that at the very least because, again, our two teams are usually there. It's such a fun tournament. You always see the passion in both those divisions of these kids that get to go compete at that very high level. And it is a shame, just like the rest of the tournaments that were canceled, but that one in particular to be so close and not have them get the fulfillment of the end of a season, especially if you look at Anoka-Hennepin battling so many times, getting their fair share of wins, but this could have been a time they could have vaulted to the top of the heap.
Yeah, I know. We had, there's a number of seniors on the Mustangs, a CI team, and we got to see them this year, and a lot of them actually scored goals in that game versus North Suburban. There was Hannah Johnson and Jacob High, Sam McKenzie, Amani Tarleton, who's been interviewed a couple times over the last 2 years for us, Gavin Sigafuz, Jersey Keeler Wide, didn't pronounce that correct, Dominic Oates, Jaden Chamberlain, and Jack Dahlgren for the Mustangs CI team.
Yeah, Jade Chamberlain. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rick.
Well, I was going to say, plus no Brett Wong on our commentary side. We just love working with Brett when we do the adaptive floor hockey games. That's his time to shine. So we also missed out on that as well.
A lot of those seniors, that's what I was going to say, specifically Jaden Chamberlain. I remember him in the state tournament a few years ago as either a freshman or a sophomore, him scoring some big-time goals for them, and that is indicative of that entire senior class. And we talked about in other sports, classes that have pulled themselves out of, whether it was poor records when they started and came into school and built their programs up. Chamberlain and company there with Anoka-Hennepin certainly had that amount of bragging rights and those kind of bragging rights with the way their program went this year.
And Ricky got the shout out to Brett Wong in there. He helped us commentate the regular season matchup between North Suburban and Anoka-Hennepin, and he would have been there to help us out with the state tournament as well. So I don't have any PI rosters for the Anoka-Hennepin team, but for the North Suburban CI division, the seniors this year were Maddie Stroman, Kenzie O'Keefe, and Jenna Warren.
Good.
Sorry, North Suburban. All right, well, we'll see if Anoka-Hennepin can continue that. They return a lot of players for next year, and hopefully North Suburban will bounce back, and we'll see some of the big duels that we've seen between those two teams in future years to come. Going to the other side of the alphabet, moving ahead to wrestling. We had Centennial with a bit of a down year, and Spring Lake Park, now they're paired with Irondale and St. Anthony. And then Blaine, we saw kind of a rise from them. They've been moving up within the conference and the section in a tough conference and a very tough section. So it's been tough for them to get to the state tournament as a team, but sending several wrestlers to the state tournament this year individually.
Yeah, you look at the one family, and we've seen that in hockey. You see families sending pairs of brothers and things like that and relations into big spots, and it was the Studers for Blaine wrestling this year to the state tournament. Luke going 38-6 this year, placing 5th at state at 132. Tyler going to state at 138, and joined by their teammate Isaac Atchison, who went to state as well at 195. They, as a team also, so those were your 3 individuals, they almost got to that point where they could go as a team to the state tournament. But as you said, Kenton, it's a very tough section, and one of the biggest reasons it's a tough section is Forest Lake, and that's who beat them in the Section 7 tournament in those head-to-head team matchup. But like you said, a rising Blaine team that often in the regular season has to deal with a stacked Centennial team that we've seen in years past in the regular year. And so good to see them as a team get right to the precipice there in that section tournament, that section finals, and the 2 Studers and then Isaac Atchison also make their way to the X.
Absolutely. So congratulations to those athletes. And with so many wrestlers returning next year, we expect some good things ahead for them as well. Moving ahead to boys swimming, Blaine and Spring Lake Park and Centennial. It was Centennial had, I guess it was 6th place in their section, Section 7, and Blaine was 7th place in Section 7. And Spring Lake Park was the team this year that was able to advance beyond the sections and get to the state tournament.
Yeah, overall getting into the top 20 when all was said and done in that state tournament, and so many top 3, top 2 finishes in the section tournament as well for Spring Lake Park. A great showing for a number of the relay teams and some of the other individual swimmers. But the guy who kind of carried the banner for the Panthers was Kieran Ripken, who ended up in the 50-yard free, specifically placing 3rd in state. And that was he was right there. I was looking at just some of the times. His time in the 50-yard free came in at just 21.00, which was just 0.33 off the pace of first place. So, I mean, you look at that, Rick, and all of a sudden you're in that top 3, and it was very bunched together in that 50-yard free, and we could have been talking about Kieran Ripken as a state champ after capping off a great season anyway.
Yeah, we would have liked to see that, and just see the adaptation of, like his career, over the last few seasons, coming to a conclusion there.
Yeah, even in the section tournament, he was part of a 3rd place finish in the 300. That was Braden who was part of that one. But Kieran, 1st place finish in section in the 100-yard free, 1st place in the 50-yard free, obviously as mentioned, and he anchored the 200-yard medley relay that took 2nd in their section tournament. So he was all over the place, helping propel Spring Lake Park to really a great team season as part of what a lot of individuals did in the pool for them.
We've got one more sport that we'll talk about before break, and that is dance team. That's a sport that we're not allowed to show on television because of copyrighted music, but still a sport nonetheless. And great showing by all of our teams this year, as just sending pretty much everybody to state, as Blaine was in Section 4, second in jazz, third in high kick, and then at the state tournament, 10th in jazz preliminaries, and then 11th in high kick. For Spurley Park, the Pantherettes, second in jazz in Section 7, and in Section 3, Centennial was number 1 in Section 3, so both of them advancing in Section 3. For jazz high kick, it was Centennial in first and Spurley Park in second in the section, and then both advancing to state, where Centennial was 8th in jazz, 9th in high kick, and Spurley Park was 10th in high kick and 12th in jazz. So all of our teams finishing just outside the final 8 for high kick and jazz, but all of them advancing to state and performing very well.
Yeah, it's a big time sport too. I mean, as we see, obviously, unfortunately, we can't always show it because, like you said, but this sport draws a lot of eyes, and to see all 3 of our teams go to state, you put it right up there with years when we've seen, big time, tremendous success for our other sports that have multiple teams that have maybe made it to that level. You think basketball, where we've got teams in different sections that could happen. But to all get there with the top 2 going, so that helps Spring Lake Park and Centennial both go to the state tournament out of Section 3. Just a fun year, and you can obviously see the passion that leads to the success in dance in our local schools.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible to have all 3 of them there, and then in both high kick and jazz,
right,
all 3 of them are between 8th and 12th place. So it doesn't get any more even than that for our 3 high schools. And congratulations to all those ladies on the season that they had. Plenty of highlights on the YouTube, plenty of coaches and captains from the season, plenty of Sports Den moments and shows, and yeah, so that's all out there on the internet, on the YouTube. So if any of you know where the YouTube is, you can go there. You can go there and watch things. It's great. You should check it out. Just that's my plug for you.
Big thing. I think it's going to take off and be here to stay.
Yeah. Good thing Google purchased that a while back. It turned out pretty well. All right. Well. There is one more sport, and that's our special guest, Ricky, that's coming up. Should we? I think Audrey
Noha is going to join us next segment. Oh my gosh, stay tuned.
Why don't you ever see elephants hiding in trees? Because they're really good at it. Yeah, I get it.
Welcome back to another quarantine edition of Sports Den. Ricky Palermo, Ricky Pimo, alongside Kenton Kipp, and Centennial Cougars' very own Audrey Noha. Audrey, thanks for taking the time out of your busy day today to join us.
Thank you for having me.
So, Audrey, you are a gymnast for the Centennial Cougars, a captain for your high school. Why don't you tell us about kind of when your season came to a halt and how you got the news and what you've been doing since?
So I was lucky enough to compete in state and have that opportunity, so my season didn't get canceled. But since then, I've been working out with my teammates and just waiting for the gyms to open up.
So back-to-back state appearances for you then?
No, my sophomore year was my first year as high school gymnast. I was a JO gymnast for over 10 years, and it was just too much on my body and stuff. So I went to high school and I got injured half the year, and then I came up like one spot and didn't make it. So then my goal this past year was to make it to state, and I did.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Setting a goal and accomplishing it. So what events did you participate at state?
I competed in all around. So all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last time we spoke was the season finale for Sports Den. You were in studio along with fellow Blaine gymnast. You said that is your favorite event. So you do all of it. And since then, it sounds like you've been trying to stay healthy, huh?
Yeah. I do a lot of PT and just like I take ice baths too. And then working out with my teammates over FaceTime helps too.
FaceTime workouts?
Yep. We do abs and arms on FaceTime.
Nice. You got to have some motivation to get you through.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions. What are you kind of doing to stay active and to stay fit?
My brother is a hockey player, so I go on we do sprints together, and then I do every arms and abs with my teammates over FaceTime.
Kenton, I think this is something that we need to incorporate amongst the Sports Den team.
Yeah, we could do 6-second abs. Or over FaceTime, we can just work on our facial muscles. Like everything that appears on camera, we'll work on that.
We could do some elbow benders too with the sandwiches, grab another bite. We could work on that.
Speaking of working on skills, Audrey, what are some skills that that you work on both during the season and then now? Do you have anything set up in your basement that allows you to kind of work on anything as far as gymnastics skills are concerned?
I don't have anything except for my backyard to
Yeah.
do stuff in.
All right, so tell us a little bit about your experience at state this year, competing in all the events, what that was like for you, and what you can kind of take away from that experience moving forward.
So when I was at sections, it was my last event, and I knew I had to get above a 9 to be in top 5. And my first score came up as a 9.3 on beam, and then it went down to an 8.9. So my coaches questioned it because it was either my spot or not my spot at state. And so she went to go try and change it, but they didn't end up changing it. So I had to stick with my 8.9. And then my all around from there was a 36.5. And that's decent to make it, I guess. But then they do all around first, and they do your first place spot, and then you go from third all the way up to first. And they were calling names and stuff, and 10, 9, 8, still wasn't me. So I was okay, I have a chance to place on some event, but probably not all around. And then they called third, and it was my teammate from my old gym, and I'm best friends with her. And then second place was me, and I started crying because I didn't know what to do. And then I walked up there, and I just saw my parents and my coaches crying in the crowd. And then I came off, and all my teammates were hugging me and stuff because that was my goal this year. And my saying this year was end on empty, and I ended on empty.
Awesome. That sounds like a absolutely awesome moment for you, and obviously that's something that kind of fuels and kind of solidifies. You obviously have a passion for gymnastics. Having that moment just kind of makes it. Does it seem worth it? All the work and all the kind of the health issues that you've been battling with, and all those things go into. Does that moment kind of the payoff for that?
Yeah, everything this year paid off in the end because I came so close last year. And then I also got sick a week before sections, so not training for a week and then competing for basically the biggest meet of the year was hard, but it all paid off.
So you're a junior next year. You plan on coming back and having your senior season with Centennial Gymnastics?
Yes, I do.
All right, what can we look forward from you next year?
Hopefully another state appearance. And then being captain again.
How does the team look for next year?
It's a lot of young girls, so we're trying to recruit some other gymnasts. But we have a strong, solid 5 varsity team when we're all healthy.
Awesome. Ricky,
Are
you got any more?
Yeah, do you plan on participating in any new events this year, Audrey, or are you sticking to kind of the same things you've been doing these last few years?
I'm sticking to the same thing.
Nice.
Just working on all four.
Um,
Getting better all around.
yeah, and speaking of all around, Kenton, Audrey, last year you were all academic.
Yeah.
Were you again this year? And how's working, doing your schoolwork from home been in the last few months?
It's been good, actually. I like doing online. I'd rather do online than being in school. I feel like I'm able to sleep in and I have more motivation at night to do my homework. So I do it from like 10 to 12, and then I get up at 10 and do my workout and then finish school.
Yeah, the personal freedom aspect of it.
Yeah.
Did you say you wake up at 10
Yeah.
a.m. and do your your workout
Yeah.
and then schoolwork?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we're just glad Ricky woke up in time for this.
Yeah, I still haven't made my bed yet. Yeah, but got out of it.
Ever.
Why make your bed? Just kidding.
Yeah, just gotta sleep in it. Okay, well, it's time now for the SDQ Almost Fun Super Quiz game time. Are you ready, Audrey?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna put on a timer. We're gonna do 90 seconds. You're gonna have a minute and a half to answer as many of these questions as you can, and they'll grow increasingly more difficult. Okay, so the first one should be easy. All right, so we're setting the timer now for a minute and 30 seconds. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. And Audrey, what is your favorite dessert?
Ice cream.
Favorite book?
I don't read.
Favorite sport? That's correct. Favorite sport other than gymnastics?
Hockey.
Favorite movie?
High School Musical.
Your middle name?
Elizabeth.
Square root of 4?
16.
Okay. Another name for the animal cougar?
Dog.
What is the best scent in the world? What is the best scent in the world, like odor?
Vanilla.
What is Ricky's last name? Rick over there.
Palmer.
What is the capital of Louisiana?
Baton Rouge.
All right. What movie featured the character Forky?
Toy Story.
Which one?
4.
Yeah. What do you call a female deer?
A doe.
Do you drink coffee?
No.
What is the best pizza place?
Punch Pizza.
Have you traveled outside the country in the last 60 days?
Nope.
That was good. All right. Name 7 South American countries.
Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua.
I'm sorry, I can't award points for that. All right. I'm gonna tally up your points though.
That was probably the best. What'd you call it? SDQ, almost awesome, super fun, fast round.
Yeah, something like that.
My last name is Palermo.
Yeah.
Palmer's a good try though.
Okay, I got you for 12 points. Good job, Audrey.
Thank you.
And then for the bonus question for 5 points, let's say quarantine was over, coronavirus is done with, there's no threat at all to go outside. What's the first thing you would do if you could just get out there and do whatever you wanted?
Go to the gym.
Go to the gym.
Nice.
For gymnastics?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Plus 5 points, that's 17 points. Congratulations, Audrey. You're
Thank
this week's winner.
You win.
Yeah. I knew you could do it. I believed in you.
Thank you.
All right. Any parting words for anybody? Any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my family and my parents and all my teammates and my coaches. It was one of my coaches last year, so we don't have him next year, so that's going to be hard. And a special shout out to my my Snapchat family group, which is 2 of my teammates and my boyfriend.
All right. They shall remain nameless, but they were mentioned in group form.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Audrey, and hope you and your family, both real and Snapchat families, stay safe and have a wonderful summer. And we look forward to great things from you in the future with next year's gymnastics season and your all academics.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, stay
Thanks,
healthy.
Audrey.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Everybody make sure you get your home workout in. If you ever want to come to SDQ home workout, you can work out with Ricky, JW, and I. We all have our own at-home workout regimens that we've got for you. And, we can work out together. Audrey for Centennial in the vault. She was 21st. That was her best event at state in the all-around, 9.4125. Uneven bars, 8.3625. Beam, 8.525. And floor, 9.275. She was 35th in that. So all-around score of 35.575. She was 2.95 away from the leader, so she finished 23rd overall at state. Congratulations to Audrey and
Jennifer Riley. Jennifer Riley from Lane on the vault.
Destiny Torgerson was last year, and then Riley was this year. Congratulations to you, and best of luck to all the gymnasts next year. There were very few seniors, and the teams are still recruiting. So if you want to be a gymnast at one of our high schools, make sure they know that, and sign up and be a part of the team. Yeah. And if you want to be a gymnast for Centennial, Audrey's looking for you.
And I didn't ask you if I could say this, Kenton, but this will help. If you just want to talk about gymnastics and you consider yourself an expert, let us know, because then when we cover gymnastics next year, we'll have someone that knows what they're talking about.
Absolutely. We're always looking for a color announcer of someone that knows what's happening there, that we can
guide us
with one of our announcers. And it'll be good. It helps with our coverage for sure.
For sure. I hope that people enjoyed these as a little small way to tip the cap to some seasons that did get to end and others that are kind of in suspended animation. And all our athletes, the ones that are coming back, can't wait to cover it again. And the ones that are moving on, best of luck. And I know that there's still great things ahead. We'll make it through.
Absolutely. And thank you to the Baker's dozens that have been watching the show. We appreciate it. I think that about wraps it up.
Probably should.
Yeah. So look forward to a top plays episode from this season. It'll be a nice look back. Remember the 2019-2020 season? So that'll be a good opportunity for that.
Nobody can ever forget it.
Nobody. We won't let them. We'll just keep producing these shows. All right. Thanks, everybody. JW's going to pretend to play us out, and that'll do it for us. For Silent Ricky, who's still got another 90 seconds of timeout time. Are you done? Are you ready?
Go Cougars.
Go Cougars.
And then he muted himself. Go Panthers.
Go Bengals. Thanks, guys. Bye.